Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This time we will be looking at something quite special. This is my General Electric Form 46 Radial Wave Streetlight. This fixture I got about 6 months ago from a local antique store, and I haven't made a video of it because, well, it's incomplete. So now that I have it here, it's ready, and we will be looking at everything it has to offer. So I think it'll be good to start with a little background on this fixture and what I did to it. So I got this 6 months ago now from a antique store that has a lot of really interesting lighting things. I've gotten a lot of signals from there and other things. So this fixture they had about 3 more of these and possibly an extra arm if I remember correctly. And I got one of them. I didn't get all of them. The other 3 were heavily damaged, if I remember correctly. And this is the one. It's still not in perfect shape, but it's in pretty good condition, and it definitely looks good, at least from far away. So the fixture that I wanted, the one that was in pretty good, well, the best condition, actually didn't have a scroll arm. It just had the straight part of the arm here, and this part was missing. So I actually ended up talking to the owner, and they let me get some pliers and take the nuts off of one of the other ones, take off the scroll portion, and buy that so that I could put that scroll arm section on this light to make it complete. So although it's not the actual arm that it came with, it was it's still the same thing. It came from the same, probably the same batch of fixtures, and it looks indistinguishable. Certainly better than just not having it at all. Now, the reason I haven't made a video on this in a long time, or not yet, because it did not have the radial wave shade. So I wasn't going to make a video of it. And actually, quite a bit earlier, I had gone to this same antique store, and they had a Spiro lighting radio wave fixture. It was a galvanized steel radio wave reproduction from only the last few decades. It was actually able to be used with sodium lamps. That's kind of interesting to see, but I didn't want to use it for that. I had that fixture sitting around for a long time, and I, well, last weekend got the idea to cut it up and actually use it in this fixture, and I think it looks pretty good. Not exactly the same shape as a real wave fixture, but it's very close, and certainly people who don't know would never be able to tell the difference. So I have a few pictures that show the process of making it. We just cut off the top, drilled some holes in it, and then painted it. And the paint I went with was Hunter Green and some sort of off-white. I can't remember the exact name of the color, but it's an off-white color just to give it a nice porcelain look. So that's pretty much everything with this section. So then we'll go ahead and look at some other parts. So here's something pretty interesting on the fixture. This is a patent that dates to October 22nd, 1929, and it shows this particular fixture, and it's pretty cool to look at something like this. You can see the very simple anatomy, the cast iron housing, the porcelain insulator, the socket, and then the terminals. You have 4 wing nuts here that you use to attach the shade, and the mechanism used to do that. Mine are not in the fixture right now because this radial wave shade does not permit that use. And then here's some reading you can do if you so desire. There's also a catalog on the internet of General Electric's products from 1936 to 1937, which does display this fixture. and a number of others. And if you guys haven't seen that particular catalog, I would recommend you go look it up. It certainly is a lot of interesting reading and quite cool because it shows this particular fixture as they offered it with all of the different variations of the shades and mounting. So I have these two glass insulators here that I have taken from my shelf, and these particular insulators are kind of interesting because these CD162 Hemingway 19s were known for being used on old lighting circuits like this would have come off of. So kind of an interesting piece of history tying together these two hobbies. You would see them in a bunch of different colors. I believe in Kansas or Missouri they used cobalt blue insulators on their lighting circuits. You can still see these around from time to time, but they're definitely getting pretty rare. Now let's talk about light bulbs. I have some light bulbs here that you may see used in this type of fixture. The first one here is maybe 405 watt or something close to that. This is a dedicated street light bulb. Kind of see, I believe it's a PS40 shape. Very big, and it's a more modern lamp. It's used on multiple circuits, which is where each fixture is wired independently so that they don't rely on each other to operate. The other bulb here, I got from that same antique store actually, is a 300 watt GE. This isn't actually intended for streetlight use, but it's a good example of something else that you may see in this type of fixture. Now what we have here is, I believe, an extra streetlight bulb. Another one. This is a Sylvania 189 watt bulb, and the reason for the odd ratings is to get an even lumen output as well as a expected life. So this is a 2500 lumen lamp. See, it's been used quite a bit, but it certainly is a very nice lamp. This also came with my fixture, and it's possible that the previous owner put this in this fixture, but one interesting part of the history is that GE actually did sell these with their radial wave fixtures, so that if you're using a smaller bulb, you can use an adapter. And then some other more modern use bulbs you will see radial waves with big spiral CFLs. Definitely an energy efficient solution, but doesn't look that great. And then here is the LED that you're getting very used to. This is an older one, but you'll see plenty of these fixtures using LED bulbs, and because they have no gear to operate, as long as they're a multiple version, they can run pretty much any bulb you stick into it. So they are very versatile in that aspect. So very easy to change over from old to new. So now that we've gotten those other things out of the way, we're going to take a look at the actual fixture and arm up close. So this arm is a galvanized steel arm, sold with all GE products of that time. This is a scroll arm version, which means it's just a little more ornate, and certainly fits the styling of this fixture. Now you'll see it's held on by clamps here. It's a very simple construction. You got a hole little mounting bracket there. They also sold these with a 2-arm bracket. Those seem to me be a little more common. So as I said, this is not the original scroll to this arm, but you would really never be able to tell. I was told by another member that this may actually be either unused or very little use. The reason I think that is because this arm is in such nice condition. If it had been outside in the elements for decades, it wouldn't look this nice. So kind of interesting to think about that as far as a fixture this old, 90 years old, being unused. So next here is a little 90-degree elbow in the shape of a ball with spikes on it. This is basically today's slip fitter holds onto the arm and the fixture. Very nice, fairly simple, but definitely looks a lot nicer than a 90-degree elbow, I think. Here is the cast iron head that was sold with many of GE's light fixtures at this time. It was pretty much the universal mounting hood for pretty much any fixture that could use it. Very simple, threads onto that, and it has 4 screws that would hold on to the fixture that it was connected to. Now the fixture up here, you can see the porcelain head is what makes it the Form 46. This smaller porcelain head was designed for lower voltages as far as series circuits go. I don't know exactly how much, but it's certainly a series design. It has these lugs here on the side that you tie your wire off to. You can kind of see an example here. This isn't exactly right, but it's an example of how it may be done, and that's designed to provide strain relief for the wire. You have these 4 little wing nuts here that you use to secure the shade. They're all on there. And then there's the shade, which again was originally galvanized steel but painted green. Moving up top here, you can see the color that they chose for this. And oh no, it's broken. This is the shade of the series socket that I got with this fixture. It works, it's just broken, so this outside part is exposed. It's not really a big deal, although it does feel a lot more fragile now. Just have to be careful with it. And then you kind of see the way that I've done this. There's these 4 little tabs here that hold this reflector in. And then there's really not much other than that. So what I'm going to do is actually take this apart and show you what the inside of the line socket assembly and terminals look like, because it's kind of interesting to look at. I've already taken the socket out of it just to make it easier. I'm going to show you how you take this apart. So these were intended to have a screw that you unscrew to remove the reflector. However, mine doesn't do that because the reflector is not original. So the way I take this apart is usually pull these wing nuts off. They're meant to do that. Pull these off. And you'll see that there's still pins left. So I remove those, and here's what they look like. And then I can take out these 4 pins. You wouldn't have to do this on one with the correct reflector, but it's a compromise I'm trying to make. So now that I have those out, I can just remove the shade. And we'll take a look at both of them in detail. So here's the shade. It's a little dented and imperfect, but there we go. You can see what we've done to make this fit. It's got 4 holes into it. Got these pins slide through, and these 2 cutouts on the sides are actually to allow the terminals to go through. The terminals go right here and right here, so this keeps this isolated so it doesn't become live, although still it's pretty close, and you have to be really careful with it. So that's the shade. So here we have the inside of the porcelain head. You see the color of the porcelain. It does actually have a pretty nice color to it. I don't know if we're going to get it cut on the camera, but it's got some speckles in it of red and blue. Very interesting to look at. And now the inside of the head. Yes, it's very, very bare. So we have these 4 places where the clips would go on. And then this hole here, and this one on the other side, lead to this terminal block. So here, these 2 screws here are what is these two screws that are holding the wire down, and then this is used for something else. I'm assuming if this was wired differently, this would be used. It actually looks like it maybe has a bigger hole for a larger diameter wire, but mine's using these two holes. And then all you have are these flathead screws, and then these two blades here. You'll see that they connect. So right now, if I were to turn this on, it would just pop the breaker because it's just a dead short between these two terminals, and that is by design. And then you've also got two holes here. You can kind of see that would allow you to run wire through this arm if it was a low voltage installation. So, because this is not low voltage, those are just capped off, and you use these external lugs. And then if the other ones use, you just have these little wood stoppers that would go into these holes and close it up. So, let's talk about series lights and how they work and why it's built like this. This fixture is designed so that it goes with a bunch of these fixtures, like 50, 60 of these fixtures, all on the same circuit. And they're wired the same way that our holiday lights are wired. So if one light were to burn out, it would break the circuit and the entire street would go dark. So to prevent that, early designs used a transformer system to bypass the light. However, these newer ones, well, newer I say, they're still 1920s, 1930s, 1940s design. They used a film cutout, which I do not have, that would go in between some blades, and that would insulate them. So this is the socket. As you can see, it's broken, but the inner porcelain part is not broken. So this outer shell is broken, but the inner part, that's like the structure part, is still intact. So this is the socket, and you just got these two blades, and you'll notice there's a piece of wood in between them. Obviously, that's not factory. Someone else put that piece of wood in. I didn't, but this is not how you would originally see this fixture. You would have a little film cutout that would go in between these and insulate the contacts that the light bulb would light. And in the event the light bulb burns out, this little film cutout will be subject to the entire voltage, 2000 or so volts, of the series, and that will cause that disc to blow, and these two contacts will short out, effectively bypassing the light, so that the entire string of lights will still light. Now, the reason for these two prongs touching like this serves two purposes. First of all, that holds this socket in, and the other thing that it does is when the socket's pulled out for relamping and replacing the thing, the film, these two things will short out, and the entire light, or the entire string, will still run if they are servicing them at night. So this can still pass electricity even if there's no bulb installed. Now, to give you an example, this gets here is, I have to be really careful with this. Yes, pushed in just like that, and it stays pretty firm, and it just kind of stays like that. There's not really much else to say about it. So this light was converted to a multiple circuit by the previous owner by putting that piece of wood in between the terminals. That's a pretty common method used, and that just allows you to make sure that even if it does burn out, the light bulb will not short out the circuit, or if you didn't have a film cutout, you can still use the light. Another interesting bit of fact here, this lip here, if this was whole, it would make sort of sense. So you got this very pronounced lip, and you would have a long pole that would have three fingers on it that would grab this and pull this whole assembly out without putting any stress on the bulb. So when they had to replace the fixture, the bulb, and then the cutout, they pull this whole assembly out and take it to the ground without using any ladders or trucks. It would be just something one person could do with a long stick. So definitely seems a lot easier than having to do it, well, the way that we're doing it now. So with that said, we've looked at everything, and I will put it together and we will look at some bulbs. Well, now that we've seen this fixture inside and out, we're going to go ahead and look at what it looks like with a few bulbs in it. So this is the larger bulb, and you can see how that looks. That looks quite nice in my opinion. This is the 405 watt, I think, PS40 bulb. And you can see how it's mounted in there. There's no protection for the bulb, so it is susceptible to damage. But this design did work for many decades. So I'll be turning it on in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that is bright. There you go. That's what this bulb looks like in here. It's lighting up everything very bright. So I'm going to turn it off. And you can see how long it takes to cool down. And it is radiating heat. So then we'll change it out for a different bulb and see what that looks like. Alright, now we are demonstrating the 189 watt incandescent bulb, which is the bulb that I feel like I'm going to use either the most with this fixture. Let's go. Not nearly as bright, but it definitely looks very nice. I think the proportions on this look very good. Here. Very, very nice fixture. Now that that's been tested, here we have a General Electric Reveal bulb. I'm using this bulb because it looks like something that you may see out in the wild. Also, this is the bulb that I had inside of the spare radial wave when I had it assembled. So let's see what this looks like in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that is not bright at all. The reveal nature of it gives it a very odd color on the camera. In real life, it doesn't look that bad, but certainly not the best look. And that bulb looks absolutely tiny in that fixture. And this one's just for fun. Today I got this 150 watt bug light bulb. I think it's a A23 shape, and we're going to test it in the fixture. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that looks very odd, but it's definitely an interesting. It's kind of interesting because it resembles a sodium lamp, but in the A shape. I don't know if there are A-shaped sodium lamps out there, but this certainly looks interesting. I feel like you would definitely be likely to come across one of these at some point that had a bug light bulb in it. And it does kind of give an interest. And then this one as well. This is just another joke one. This is a red bulb. That's a 60 watt GE. Of course, there's no light output. Yeah, that bulb is putting out no light, and I'm going to turn it off before it gets too hot. This is a Slovenia chimney lamp, something you would never see in this application, but I want to try it because it looks odd. It's a nice bulb, but in a very weird application. That's very odd. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video of my radio wave street light from the 1930s. I'll have more videos to come. Have a Jocelyn fixture to review. And other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something. With that, thanks for watching, and bye for now.